What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. Watching my back, as always, El Flaco Explosivo, a.k.a. the Alexis Arguello puppet, right there. We're back with another banger of an episode. Again, the most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth, they happen right here. Legends, luminaries, world champions, which we're about to have, and fighters on the rise, all coming here to chop it up. Boy, Reckless Rex. And my guest is here now, so we're getting down to the brass tacks immediately. Let's go. Pumped. Love this guy. Repeat guest. Pleasure to have him back. There he is, my man. What's up, Angelo?
How's it going? How you doing?
I'm great, man. Great. Always great to see you, man. And first of all, man, I'm gonna address the obvious first, man. And because you're not gonna complain about it, so I will vent on your behalf. How the hell did we not get 2024 knockout of the year? Come on.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm upset about too.
Well, thank you for agreeing with me.
So
yeah,
a lot of politics.
Thank you for agreeing with me. I mean, come on. I mean, all kidding aside, you know, listen, I cover this sport. I enjoy it to the utmost. Super passionate about it, man. But Daniel Dubois knocking out Anthony Joshua, while maybe a bit unexpected, certainly not the amazing and incredible knockout. You know what I mean? I've also had Lucas Body on here, who had a good one himself last year, but I don't know, man. I think it's the magnitude of your knockout too, man, and how impressive it was. I mean, and putting down a guy like Luis Alberto Lopez.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they nominated me 3 times, which is cool. But man, I should have got some award, you know.
Yeah.
It was knockout of the year, it was comeback of the year, and it was upset of the year. You know, but ultimately it was knockout of the year.
Yeah, but I'm curious that you brought those 3 honors up, man. You know, when you look back in that fight, and I'm not a betting guy, so I don't know what the odds were going into that, man. But do you feel like when you went into that fight against Lopez that you were the underdog?
Oh yeah. I knew I was the underdog, but that only fueled me. It was like a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to prove to everyone that the fighter that I am.
Right. Now, I'm curious where you stand because you're 30 years old right now, and correct me if I got any of this wrong or whatever, but so much has been made over the years about an athlete and like when he's in his prime or whatever, man. Where do you feel like at 30 years old you're sitting? The beginning, the midst of your prime?
I think I'm smack dab in the middle.
Yeah.
I think I'm right in the middle of my prime. If anything, I just entered my prime, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of wear and tear on my body. I haven't been through wars. I take care of my body. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I'm not out there doing crazy stuff like that. And I think you know, I still have a lot of years to go. And there's a lot of boxers that fight well into their late 30s. I'm not saying I will, but there's testaments to that.
And I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, I agree. You're 30 years old. You know, you do have a lot of, in-ring, time to go or whatever. But have you thought about life after boxing? Do you feel like when you're done competing in the ring, it'll always be a part of your life? Like, i.e., are you interested in the promotion or the coaching, training yourself?
I haven't really thought about that too much, but I think I would like to be involved into the boxing just because it gave me so much. It's done so much for my life and my career. I would like to repay the sport that helped me out. But as far as life after boxing, I'm really into investing. I want to invest my money right.
Yeah.
Keep that cash flow going, and maybe do some real estate or something like that.
Yeah, because you do see a lot of people, man, like when they walk away from the sport, man, they seem to still be able to, they still keep a foot in it. But there are some people that just walk away from it when they're done, they're done.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah.
And so you got this fight coming up in May. Your last fight was in August, man. I don't know. Is ring rust still a thing? Is it obviously like you're an athlete? You keep in shape. You're in the gym. You know, training every single day. Yeah. Is ring rust one of those things that enters the equation? Because a lot of people could say, "Geez, 8-9 months, you know, of not fighting is, you know, is that something that concerns you at all?"
I think that's all really what is it? Objective. I think.
Yeah.
Or subjective.
Maybe even a myth.
It could be a myth. You know, I think it's all up to the person. You know, all up to the individual.
Yeah.
Depending on their body, some experiences, some don't. You know, some have been out the ring for 2 years and then come back and look even better. But then there's also some fighters that, after 4 or 5 months, they look like a totally different fighter. They get old overnight.
Yeah. Now, this guy that you're fighting, Tomoki Kameda, I may have said his name wrong. I probably did. I'm terrible with these pronunciations, but hopefully I got that right and they didn't botch his name too much. But the thing I want to ask, though, man, that I find particularly interesting, you going to Osaka, Japan, man, kind of more or less going to, quote unquote, his home turf or whatever. Where do you stand on that, man? Was that a stipulation of them that you had to come there to fight?
I think it was we all agreed upon it. The promotions, me, and everyone were like, yeah, let's go to Japan. Why not? It's a new experience. As a champion, it solidifies myself as a champion. Going to somebody's backyard and defeating them. So it just adds a little bit more to the legacy.
Is it an advantage? Because you see about in other sports when teams have the, quote, home field advantage, we're playing in my arena, we're playing in my ballpark or whatever. Do you look at it as an advantage, or when you climb through those ropes, it's just another ring?
For me, it's just another ring,
Yeah.
But yeah, I do see where you're coming from. They could say it's a home advantage and this and that. But for me, my mentality, my mental fortitude is just so strong that I'm not going to let nothing like that deter me from getting the W.
And now for people that don't know, man, a little background on you, man. How early on in life did you get the boxing gloves on?
I think I want to say 7 or 8 years old. I want to say 7, and I didn't take it serious till like 8 years old.
And were there guys that you were, that you were watching that you kind of like looked up to? You know how we all kind of have those sports heroes when we're kids. Like, were there guys that were doing it that you were particularly a fan of?
Yeah, there was actually Oscar De La Hoya played a big part in it. He's my idol growing up. I think a lot of fighters my age wanted to be like him when we were growing up, and I'd have to say Oscar De La Hoya. Later on, it was Manny Pacquiao, and but Oscar De La Hoya was a culprit in all this.
I know. I'm not going to lie, man. Hall of Fame weekend is coming up, and I live like 20 minutes from the Boxing Hall of Fame, and Manny's going in this year, man, and I am pumped, man. I'm working my way into a picture with Manny Pacquiao. I'm going to hunt him down and find him, dude. I need that one. I need that one for the archives.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one right there. I've never taken a picture with him, but I did see him train before.
Yeah.
And hopefully I could get a picture with him one of these days.
I mean, I just find what he's done fascinating. You know what I mean? Like, people always make the argument in sports, who's the GOAT, who's the GOAT, who's the GOAT. And I know a lot of people will point at Floyd or other guys, and I know there's people that take into account the undefeated factor or whatever. I know Manny's got losses or whatever. But, I mean, 8 weight classes is going to be hard to duplicate for anybody, man. That seems like something that could possibly stand for a long time.
That's a lot. That's definitely a lot.
That's a crazy feat.
He has to. I think Floyd is pretty close to it, but Pacquiao is the one that takes the cake for that.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And so from a fan standpoint, because obviously, you do this for a living, but but I'm sure there's still like a fan of boxing inside of you. Are there guys right now that are doing it? You know what I mean? Like your peers who you enjoy particularly watching, if they're fighting, Angelo's tuning in?
Yeah, I like right now I'm a big fan of Jesse Bam Rodriguez.
Oh yeah.
I like Anthony Alasquaga. The lower weights, I'm really interested in the lower weights. Who else? David Benavidez.
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah, I like David. Yeah.
Of course, Canelo. Who else? Yeah, but I would have to say those guys right there.
And so I'm glad you brought Canelo's name up, man. Aside from your own career, pick your brain about some of the hot topics going on in the sport right now. If we do see Bud Crawford go all the way up to 168 to fight Canelo, where do you rate his chances? It's a big task.
That is a big task. That's a big task. I mean, he does got a chance. You can't write him off. He's a pound for pound champion. But like they say, there's weight classes for a reason.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I know there's pictures out of him right now, like walking around like up in the 180s, and he looks good or whatever, man. But walking around at that weight and actually performing at it, obviously, are two different things, Exactly.
Because, I walk around 145 and all that, and I look big and I look good still.
Yeah.
But that's not my weight, 126 is my weight. The speed is there. And I think Crawford I think they're fighting at 168.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be as fast as he will. And I don't think his punch resistance may not be the same either.
Yeah.
Especially with a fighter like Canelo that could really punch and
Yeah.
really got speed at that weight.
Yeah, and he's been living and campaigning at that weight for a long time too. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm sure that must play some type of an advantage.
Of course.
And now, what about you in terms of weight classes, man? Like you are right now a bona fide featherweight, man. But have you thought about exploring weight classes above that? And for you, your body type, man, what do you feel like your ceiling is? How high could you go?
Yeah. Eventually, I think he might be campaigning at 130, but that's down the line. I'm focused on 126 right now for sure.
Okay. And what would you like to accomplish at 126? Obviously, people are always talking about undisputeds, or like at the very least, unifying belts.
Yeah, all that really. I want it all. I want it all. I want to unify, possibly undisputed, everything. I want to juice my career to the max.
And when you look at the other champions, man, I'm trying to take them like by the alphabet organizations here, man. Just give me a quick assessment on your feelings of all of them. So the WBO champ is Rafael Espinoza. Your thoughts on him?
He's a good fighter. He throws a lot of punches. He definitely has a height advantage. I do think he's vulnerable, but he's a good champion. He's a good, exciting fighter.
And now the WBC belt is held by Stephen Fulton, a guy that you do know and have history with. Now, there are rumors, and I try to keep up to speed on what's going on. People have hinted that he may be moving up to 130 to possibly pursue a fight with O'Shaquie Foster. I don't think anything as official is announced, but currently the WBC champion, so we'll take it for what it is, man. What are your feelings on him?
Again, another good fighter, another good champion. I do think he's lost a step in his recent bouts.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he's a champion. You can't take nothing from him.
And one guy that's really making a lot of waves, probably just because of his brashness and his outspokenness, is Nick Ball. He's the current WBA belt holder.
Yeah. Again, I think so. The featherweight division is very diverse. So he got him as 5'2". He's the shortest champion. I never heard of a champion that short. But he's a champion, and he uses his height to his advantage. He uses his size to his advantage, and again, I can't take nothing away from him.
Now, one guy that I got to bring up, man, who is certainly climbing the ranks, obviously me being an upstate New Yorker, man, he represents our great state here, man. Just recently had him on, man, Shushu Carrington.
Yeah, what is he? He's a contender, right?
He's a contender right now. Yeah. He's pretty high. He's pretty high up in the rankings. I believe when I had him on, he really was intrigued by the idea of a matchup with Nick Ball. So I think he's ranked the highest in the WBA right now.
Yeah, so he's another good fighter. I think he's due for a world title shot, and we'll see how he does with it.
Yeah, and another thing, and I know it happened last month. I try to stay up and bring up current topics, but I have to ask, man, what was your take on Lamont Roach and Tank Davis? Well, how did you see that fight shaking out, man? What were your obviously a very controversial and polarizing decision?
Yeah, that was first and foremost, that was a great fight. I think it could have been a draw. I couldn't argue with Lamont winning or Davis winning. But it was a very exciting fight. I didn't expect a performance like that from Lamont Roach. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
he did a really good job of staying in the pocket with Tank and firing, countering Tank shots, and really giving a lot of trouble to Tank.
Was it perplexing when you see a guy take a knee and not get it scored as a knockdown? Obviously, if you're in the other corner and you see your opponent take a knee, that's probably what you're thinking, right? I've just scored a knockdown.
Yeah, exactly. And I would probably done the same thing. I would have argued the same thing, but like they said, it was up to the referee's discretion. And I think in a moment like that, the referee was probably confused. Didn't know what was going on, and he made a decision. Like, it was not a right decision and it's not a wrong decision.
Yeah, and so the guy you're going to fight in Japan, obviously I know he's correct me if I'm wrong. So he was your mandatory.
Yeah, he's my mandatory.
Okay, and so looking beyond this, how active would you like to be the rest of 2025? This is obviously like your first fight. You feel like, even though it's happening in May, that you'll get another fight in this year?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Another one, probably in the fall, sometime in the fall. Maybe squeeze in another one, but not too sure.
Would you like the fight after the fight in Japan to possibly be with one of the other champions?
We're taking it fight by fight.
Okay.
I got a mandatory. Then we got an option to fight a voluntary. But if the things are right and everything is going well, maybe we can fight for a unification belt with another champion.
Now, you're a young man in this sport, but I feel like, man, like having been doing this for so long, and I could be wrong in this, that you would probably have like an old school mentality. You just strike me as that kind of guy. So I don't know like where you stand on these Jake Paul events. A lot of guys, don't take them very seriously. I know they bring eyes to boxing or whatever, man, but like, where do you stand on what those type of events do for boxing?
What kind of events?
These Jake Paul fights that we see.
Oh, I see.
Are you a fan of these at all?
Yeah, I am. I am actually, but at the end of the day, I do got some old school ways. Like, I'm all about, the fighters, coming up the hard way, coming up the,
right,
the way
that
their
dues.
Yeah, exactly. But then nonetheless, I love the sport of boxing, so it's actually good for the sport of boxing for them to bring. He's bringing in a whole new crowd, a whole new audience to boxing, so which is good. It's more views for us fighters.
And now he's living his life somewhat like a boxer. I mean, he's training. He's on a boxer's type of regimen. A lot of people are critical of his resume. Are you able to look at him at this point and say, you know what? I look at him and I see a boxer now, or has he not earned that yet?
I do see him as a boxer. I do see him as a boxer. What I see is I see him taking his craft serious. I see him improving. I see him, he's in the gym. So I got to give him his flowers for that.
And what about Saudi Arabia now becoming big players in the boxing world? Like we just saw news of Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White from the UFC forming their own promotional company. They're talking about trying to really shake the sport up. I do like some of the stuff, having the best fight the best and really trying to make like fantastic fights. But there is a certain demographic out there, and I know this from trying to be tapped into the sport and being in boxing groups on Facebook. There is a certain percentage of people out there that are protective of the sport. Again, going back to that old school type of mentality, who don't know that this is necessarily a good thing. Saudi Arabia becoming big players in boxing and exerting, their influence. They're talking about scaling back how many weight divisions and scaling back the amount of belts that there are. The pay scale for fighters. Where do you stand on like what they're doing in boxing?
I think I like what Turkey's doing for boxing, but I do think that he is pushing around the fact that boxing should be more in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I think he's being a little bit too much of an authoritarian.
Yeah, good word. Yeah.
In this sense. But nonetheless, it seems like he does want the good fights for boxing.
Yeah.
Which I can't argue. I think we all do. But it seems like when he doesn't get his way, he has like a fit or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the vibe I get from him. But
well, sometimes when you've got a lot of money and you're used to having things go your way, sometimes you know what I mean. Like that can kind of breed that type of attitude. I mean. Yeah. He's probably not a guy that hears no a lot.
Yeah, right. Well, when he's a prince like that, he's able to say what he wants. So, hey, more power to him,
Now, again, speaking from a fan standpoint, man, are there fights that have happened this year in 2025 or fights that are slated to happen that you're particularly looking forward to?
Hopefully the Canelo Benavidez fight happens.
Yeah.
What other ones?
Boy, you're holding out hope for Canelo and Benavidez to happen, huh?
Still, yeah, still.
I know. I am too. Listen, I'm
That's a good
I'm
one.
with you,
That's a
man.
good one. Oh, actually, I wanted to see Benavidez and Bivol fight, but I
Yeah.
think he didn't. They're doing a trilogy with Beterbiev and Bivol.
Yeah, apparently the news yesterday was that he vacated the WBC, so now David Benavidez is the WBC champ, but he didn't have to fight for it though. So I mean, it looks like Bivol for some reason, at least for the foreseeable future, it doesn't look like that matchup is going to happen right now.
Yeah, see, I never understood that either. Why they do that? They just elevate elevate the contender to the champion. I
Yeah,
think they should fight for an actual vacant belt. That way, it's legitimate.
you feel like you've earned it at least in some level. Yeah. Yeah, and it seems like Benavidez has a hell of a time being able to land fights anyway, man. He is still a pretty avoided guy.
He is.
I mean, for good reason. I mean, obviously his in-ring work speaks for itself. I mean, and I think especially coming off of that win over David Morrell.
Exactly. He's a good fighter. And he's young. He poses a lot of threat to these fighters.
What do you feel like when you're in the gym now, man? Because I know, boxers are always learning, always refining their skills. You know what I mean? Like, always upping their game or whatever, man. Like, what's something in the gym recently, man, that you feel like you've taken to another level or something you've consciously really tried to work on in your game?
I would say, just being a little sharper and everything.
Yeah.
I would say just being a little sharper in everything that I do. Paying attention to detail.
Yeah.
In everything that I do. In footwork, in my punches, in my punch selection, combinations, all that.
Now, when did you find out that you're that you had like the mental acuity for boxing? Because I feel like, and maybe acuity was the wrong word, but like I feel like, and I've asked other fighters on here, I feel like most normal people will go to great lengths to avoid a confrontation with another man. You know what I mean? So stepping through those ropes, there's obviously got to be fear. There's got to be anxiety. Obviously, you quell that and you harness it and you use it to your advantage or whatever, man. But when did you know? Because a lot of the physical stuff can either be taught or it's God-given talent that you were born with, man. But you can be taught to throw a jab. You can be taught footwork, But the mental side of boxing, man, like when did you know? At what age did you know that you had the mental toughness to go in and fight another man?
I think it's just my competitive nature that I got, and wanting to win is the main thing. And then me just being a fighter, even when I was younger, fighting in school and all that, it didn't really affect me like that.
Oh, okay. So Angelo Leo, excuse me, had hands even at a young age then.
Exactly. I've always been kind of feisty, so.
Yeah,
it played well for me to fight, and I was always competitive, so it kind of just meshed all together.
And was there any pushback from anybody, man? Like like a lot of times, like you'll hear like a mother not really being too wild about her son choosing getting punched in the face for a living, man. Did you get pushback from anybody in the family?
Yeah, I would have to say my grandma.
Yeah, she wasn't thrilled.
She didn't outright tell me not to box, but she would hint like at other sports and stuff like that.
Yeah. What would have been the other sports, man? Like, were you gifted or good at other sports?
I was okay at soccer, but I think, and I like to play basketball, but I didn't have the height for basketball, so
yeah,
boxing was my thing, so I stuck on my boxing.
And so, would you say that it's probably more realistic for a unification bout probably to happen in 2026 if it's going to happen?
Possibly
more realistic.
Yeah, I wouldn't count out 2025 either, but it could look for 2026.
Now I know you don't have one on your resume. Your current record is 25-1. But where do you stand on a draw in boxing, man? If you were to have a draw with another fighter, man, does that feel like a win, a loss? I mean, there's obviously not a definitive, clear-cut, resolution, man. How would a draw make you feel if you had a draw with somebody?
A draw, I wouldn't feel like I'd actually be a little upset about it.
Yeah,
I'd be a little upset about it. Felt like I didn't do enough to get in.
It's like the draw is confusing in boxing. The draw is confusing.
it's better than a loss, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's still a blemish in your record.
Right. Right. It is. Yeah. And so, a big drawback on the sport right now, and I've been critical about it on here before, though, is that unfortunately, man, we do still see some bad judging and some poor scorecards, man. Is that anything that weighs in the back of your mind? Because I wouldn't necessarily call you a guy, who can rely on getting a guy out of there with knockout power. I wouldn't call you necessarily, I think it's fair to say you wouldn't call yourself a knockout artist. You know what I mean? Like, they come when they come or whatever, man. But, is it something in the back of your mind, like, where you think, like, boy, if a fight goes to the cards, is it something that, because obviously it can change the trajectory of a guy's career.
Yeah, of course. I think, I just got to go in there and just dominate and punish them.
Yeah.
That's my mentality. That's really what it is, I just got to go in there and dominate, and not trust any of these judges. I can't trust them because you never know what's going to happen in boxing. You've seen it all happen.
Yeah, that is a good word, man. The trust factor is big. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're essentially putting your career into their hands. So when you're getting ready for Kameda, are you a guy that watches a lot of tape on your opponents, or do you leave that up to your team? Are you a guy that will sit and watch what this guy does?
I watch tape. But I leave it mainly to my team.
And what's your assessment of him at this point? Like, what have you seen? I don't want you to divulge the game plan, obviously, man. But but is there anything, like, from watching him that stands out to you immediately?
Not really. Not really. Go over there.
Is there anything you're particularly concerned about?
What's that?
Anything you're particularly concerned about?
Not really. We've seen it all. I've actually sparred them in the past, so we are a little familiar with them.
Okay.
And nothing that he does surprises me. I'll be ready for everything.
And so how much stock do you put in having a little bit of a history with this guy? You mentioned that you have sparred with him or whatever. I know sparring is sparring, and being in the ring is the real deal or whatever, man. But, a lot gets made. We hear sparring stories get leaked out there, man. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a fair and accurate depiction of what's going to actually happen in the ring. But how comfortable does it make you feel when you're getting in there with a guy that you have sparred before? Does it change the comfort level at all because you are a bit familiar with him, at least?
Maybe a little bit, maybe just a little bit. But when sparring is completely different than fighting, when you got to throw 8-ounce gloves and the crowd, it's a different story. So I take it into account a little bit, just maybe his habits. But at the end of the day, I know he's coming with his A game, and I'm coming with my A game. So I got to be ready for the best Kameda, not the one that I sparred.
Okay, fair enough, man. And so for people that might not know, so this fight is on the 24th of May in Japan. If people want to tap in and watch it, man, like, where can they catch it? Is this a fight that's going to be on pay-per-view on DAZN?
No, I think it's gonna be on ESPN.
Oh, sweet! I like that.
It'll be on ESPN May 24th, Osaka, Japan. You guys don't miss it.
And you've also got a birthday coming up May 15th, so I won't probably talk to you before then, man. But happy early birthday!
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. I turned in the big 3-1, correct?
Yes, sir. 31.
Yeah. Hey, listen, brother. I appreciate you making the time, man, and I always love having you on here, man. I'm glad we're in contact, man. For sure, keep it that way, man. And after the fight, we'll catch up, man, and we'll do this again.
All righty, sounds good. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man. And there, right there, folks, is a guy that should have been the 2024 knockout of the year. We were robbed. Yeah. Yeah, we were. I'm glad to hear you say it, Angelo. It validates my feelings, man. I'm glad that we're on the same page, man.
Yeah. No, I was in an uproar when that happened, but hey, it is what it is. I got ESPN knockout of the year, so
and for good reason, man. That's the left hook right there that should be shown on videotapes, man, for kids to learn how to throw a left hook, man. Picture perfect.
Right.
Yeah. I appreciate you, man. I always love talking to you, man. Thank you so much, brother. We'll do it again for sure.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Good talking to you, Angelo.
All righty, we'll see you
later, my friend. And there he goes, folks. Your current IBF Featherweight champion of the world, El Chinito, Angelo Leo, man. 25-1, 12 KOs. The man is headed over to Osaka, Japan, going into enemy territory, going behind enemy lines. Tomoki Kameda will be his opponent, his mandatory for his title. And as you heard, should be an ESPN fight, man. Again, May 24th. So sneak it right up on us, folks, next month, man. And yes, I will go to the grave insisting that in the calendar year of 2024, the knockout of the year was Angelo Leo, and that beautiful left hook that dropped Luis Alberto Lopez, a guy that's not easy to drop, a guy that's not easy to stop. And what a fight that was, man. And that, of course, was last August for you people that don't recall. August 10th of last year, man. An amazing performance turned in by Angelo Leo. Such a great young guy, man. So happy the success that he is enjoying right now, man. And hopefully May 24th, man, the train keeps on rolling, man, and we will have him back on here, man, with another notch in his belt. I got no doubt that he will, but of course, the fight still has to happen. And again, it is in Osaka, Japan. So this is where his opponent, Tomoki Kameda, is from. So a big task here, man. Angelo going overseas, going to the home country of his opponent, man. But hey, as he said, that's what champs do, man. That's how they move. That's how they roll, man. That's a G move right there, man. Big respect, man. And just Angelo is just really one of the great guys in the sport, man, and tremendous fighter, man. As I said, he is your IBF Featherweight champion. A lot of other great champions that I mentioned, man. He was diplomatic on his take on all of them, as he should be. But there's some intriguing matchups there, man. Rafael Espinoza holds the WBO belt, as I said. Cool Boy Steph, Stephen Fulton holds the WBC. Nick Ball holds the WBA, and of course, Angelo holds the IBF, and of course, my boy Shushu, also climbing the ranks, man, is going to get a crack at somebody's featherweight belt. Seemed like when he was on the show, man, he seemed to really be zeroed in on a potential Nick Ball fight. But again, anything can happen. Any news can break. Anything can be announced. So you just never know, man. If the deal is right and the money's right, man, you never know, man. Fights are on, they're off, they're on, they're off. We get a surprise from left field. So we will see how it all shakes out, man. But always a pleasure talking with the great Angelo Leo, man. And wish him so much luck, man, when he goes over to Japan, man. But I know he's coming back, man. And that IBF belt is going to stay right where it's at. So again, make sure to like and follow Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. There you will get updates on new episodes, when they're dropping, who will be on those episodes, and any other pertinent boxing news. If it's popping in the fight game, man, and it's newsworthy, I'm throwing it up there, man. Tap in on Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook, and you will be, if nothing else, informed. Hopefully entertained, but definitely informed. Whether it's news on upcoming fights, fight results, breakdowns, predictions, analysis, viral videos, something, as I always say, jumps off at a press conference or a weigh-in, man. I'm throwing it up there, man. If it's newsworthy, man, and it's jumping off in the fight game, I'm putting it on there, man. And of course, if you're watching this podcast right now, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification button to stay tapped into the most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth. Like I always say, we run the game, man. We're all over the board with it. Legends, luminaries, world champions, and fighters on the come up, man. We are, of course, the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcast. Why do I say that? Go look at the list of guests. We are north of 200 episodes right now, and I will put my playlist, man, up against anybody, man, as far as boxing content goes. We have ran down damn near everybody, at least that we've been able to come in contact with. And thankfully have been graced with the presence of so many amazing people associated with the fight game. So a big thank you to all my guests. Without them, none of this is possible. And of course, my viewers, and of course, my devoted subscribers, man. Love all you guys, man. Continue to stay tapped in. And I got good news for you. You too can be a champion. And the formula is really quite simple. All you got to do is continue to stay tapped in with this channel. That's it. Like I said before, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Stay tapped in and continue to roll with Off the Couch Boxing and continue to roll with the champs. Peace.